What is going on, everybody? We have a Adeptus Mechanicus list review today. This was submitted to me to go over and give my thoughts on, and we're going to do just that. So if you're into Adeptus Mechanicus, this will be a good video to hear my thoughts on a lot of units, because this list has about everything in it. And maybe you'll learn something or take something away, or if you disagree, of course, please leave it in the comments below. And if you want to submit a list, please email it to me at redbeardboss@gmail.com. Alright, so this is an Adeptus Mechanicus 2,000 point army. He said it was 2,000 points on the dot. He also hasn't built any of these yet, I believe, so that gives him the opportunity to change some of these before he makes any mistakes, I guess. Right off the bat, we got a battalion, a spearhead, and a vanguard detachment. I think this is a mistake. I would just do 2 battalions, or if you could, maybe 2 battalions and one other thing, if you really wanted to go for that. I don't think you want a spearhead and a vanguard. It doesn't seem necessary or beneficial to the army. This is all gonna be Mars Forge World, which I usually is the one I play in tournaments, just for the Wrath of Mars stratagem to be able to kill large models. But he starts off with Balsarius Call. I do not own this model. I think it's a little bit of a trap to spend a lot of points on him and then leave him back with like the robots for the full reroll bubble. I think it's countered by tables with good amounts of terrain, like they should have. I think it's predictable. That being said, with his recent price drops in Chapter Approved 2019, I could actually see trying him out. So I might have to pick him up at some point and just paint him for my collection. He's like one of the only few models I don't have for the Adeptus Mechanicus. The second one is the Tech Priest Engine Seer with the Red Axe Relic. I think the Red Axe Relic is absolutely a mistake, especially on a Tech Priest who hits on 4s. An Engine Seer, by the way, he's awful in hand-to-hand combat. Do not give him a magic weapon. It's a terrible idea. There's definitely better things you could give. Literally anything is better than giving that guy an axe. A magic axe, by the way. Starting off with troops, Cataphren destroyers, 2 or 3 destroyers in this unit, 2 heavy grav, and then 1 plasma. I've only ran them as triple plasma in my unit of 3. I run them quite often, but a lot of times I pick the breachers over the destroyers because they were so much cheaper in points. I have not tried them again with the recent points drops though, so they're probably really worth checking out again. I think both the plasma and the heavy grav cannon are good choices, but because later in the list he has the Castellan Robots, there's a stratagem to give them +1, both units +1 to hit, and then I would go all plasma guns, because when you have +1 to hit, it's not unmodified 1s that you blow up on when you overcharge. It's just 1s, so your 1s become 2s, and even though you will miss, you do not die. So if you have both units, I would take all plasma, keep them next to the robots, use that stratagem, +1 to hit, overcharge the full time until your opponent gets tired of letting you do that. The next unit is a squad of 10 Skitarii Rangers with 2 arc rifles. I think this is a pretty good squad. With the recent drops though, you might as well put a 3rd in there if you're going to go a 10-man squad. If not, you could do like a 5 to maybe 8-man squad with 2. I think that would not be a bad idea. But if you're going to go 10 and you already have 2 in there, you might as well take the 3rd, I believe. And then especially because your next squad is a 10-man Vanguard unit, and it has 1 Arquebus, which is not a good idea. They have an 18-inch range gun, so the Arquebus is better on the Rangers because they're 30-inch gun. It just was more likely they can sit back and still shoot. I think the plasma gun, or my personal favorite, is the arc rifles on the Vanguard. So I would go Ranger Squad. I don't have the points in front of me, so this will probably adjust your points a bit, but if you're going to do the 10-man Ranger Squad, do the 3 arc rifles in it, or break it up into 2 5-mans with 2 arc rifles each, giving you a total of 4 arquebus. And then on the 10-man Vanguard Squad, I would build them with 3 arc rifles and an arc pistol on the captain, or the leader, the lieutenant, whatever. That gives you 7 strength 6 AP1 shots within 12 inches, and it also all does D3 damage against vehicles. Very good against light vehicles because it's only strength 6. But I wouldn't do the arquebus and the Vanguard. I don't think it's a good blend of abilities. Now that's it for the battalion. Next we go on to the Spearhead. This is where he has the Tech Priest Dominus with the Eradication Ray and Phosphor Serpenta. You could give that Relic Axe to this guy. I still don't think that's a great idea. I think I would just take any of the other relics that give you some kind of like regeneration of command points. There's one for that. It's kind of one of the more generic ones, and you need 6s, but you do get a roll for both you and your opponent, so you're a little more likely to get your 1 command point back a turn. And you went with the Eradication Ray. I used to do that, but I almost always go Volkite gun just for fishing for the mortal wounds. I really have not played with the Eradication Ray since the very beginning. It might technically be better. I don't know. I just like shooting the 3 shots and fishing for a mortal wound or 2 with my guy who's generally just sitting around the back and hiding or moseying around. Maybe he'll go fight some Nurglings or something in hand-to-hand combat. Heavy support in the Spearhead. Onager Dunecrawler with Icarus Array. My absolute favorite. I almost do this build every single time. The second one, Dunecrawler with Neutron Laser and 2 Heavy Stubbers. The other build that is very good with Call. I think arguably the Neutron Lasers maybe are... I don't know though. And I almost always go 2 Dunecrawlers, both Icarus Array, because of their ability to get +1 to hit anything with a fly keyword. There's a lot in the game, like jet bikes, custody jet bikes, flying hive tyrants. There's a lot that flies that you would like to shoot. So the neutron laser is very powerful though. So I think 1 of each is also a good idea. Now this next squad, the Castellan Robots. Squad of 4 you went with. This is the most I own and have ever taken. I don't really see why I would want 6 unless I'm really going to start splitting fire, because 4 always seems like plenty, especially in Mars with Wrath of Mars. But you went 2 with a flamethrower and machine guns, heavy phosphor blaster, 1 with 3 heavy phosphor blaster, and 1 with fists and a heavy phosphor blaster. This unit's all over the place. They're very, very easy to magnetize. Put magnets in their wrist, and you can pull off the arms, and then put a magnet on his shoulder and a magnet on your gun, and you can magnetize that. If you're going Mars and you're going Call, go all machine guns all day long, period. Because if you're taking Call, you 100% want him probably near these robots, because they hit on 4s and they have so many shots. So definitely just switch all of that to all machine guns. The thing you need is screens to protect you in hand-to-hand combat. Taking a guy with the fists, I would go all fist, right? If you want to go flamethrowers and fists, do that. Deep strike them with the new Vigilus formation or something. But this mixed unit, don't like at all, because you're going to want to double shoot them. You're going to want to turn them into double shoot mode and stand still forever. And once you're standing still forever, that's forever, meaning you don't even get a pile in, okay? So if your guy with the fist is out on the edge and they're fighting your unit over here, he doesn't pile in. He's stuck to the ground doing nothing. So it's a weird mix. Go all machine guns or all fight, I believe. You could even do 2 and 2 if you wanted. Next up, Elites. Cybernetica Datasmith. He's okay. If you need the elite, take him. I think for the most part just leave him out always, unless you need the elite or have a few extra points, I guess. But I would pretty much leave him out almost always, because what I would do if I have the robots with machine guns is I spend 1 command point to switch their protocol forever first turn and double shoot first turn, and make sure I try to deploy them where that's going to be beneficial to me. You do not want to rely on the 2+ to switch your protocol the next turn, because if you go second, you start in defense anyway, perfect. And if you go first, you pay the 1, switch over. You could move first, then pay the 1 and switch over, however you want to do it. But just pay the command point, that way you get the exact benefit you want first turn. And if you didn't want to double shoot first turn, you wanted to stay into defense, still you could just spend the command point next turn and go to whatever mode you want forever. That is why I think I mentioned it, but I would definitely go 2 battalions. You'd have more command points to use on things like that. And especially since you got a little bit of every unit, that means you're going to have a lot of stratagems you're going to want to use. So more battalions, more command points, better. The next unit is a 7-man squad of Sakaran Rust Stalkers. 6 with transonic blades, and 1 with a razor and chored claw. To be honest, this is a unit I do not own or have never played. They do not look of any value to me on paper. I just don't know what they do in the army. They seem absolutely pointless. They don't deep strike like the Infiltrators, and they're really not as good as fighting as the Electro priests. So I would take this kit, if you haven't built it yet, and build them as more Infiltrators, and we'll get to that in a second. I love the Infiltrators. Like, I love them a lot. So I can't give you any personal success or failure with the Rust Stalkers, besides they did not even look good enough to build. And I have 20 Infiltrators, which meant 4 boxes. Any one of those I could have built Rust Stalkers, and I did not. So, not saying that's the best way to do it. I think there is some benefit to having something that can fight in your deployment area. I think a Knight Gallant is, a nice choice for that. Or if you're not deep striking, Electro Priests are, obviously great choices for that. And probably better than them. So the next detachment is a Vanguard detachment. Starting with the Tech Priest Engine Seer. He's dirt cheap. He's awesome. Don't give him the Red Axe relic. The 2 units of 5 Electro Priests. Go 1 unit of 10, I believe, is better. 2 units of 5 is just probably too easy to pick off all of them to either kill the whole unit, or you're going to have like 1 or 2 running around in a unit, and that just doesn't seem very valuable. If you start trying out like other Forge Worlds without call and go like Lucius, dropping a 15-20 man Electro Priest squad with the Jazz Hands and just shooting a ton of firepower is awesome. Or you go on the gamble of the 9-inch charge. That's also awesome. If you go Graia, their 6-up refusal to die means they have a 5-up invuln, a 6-up feel no pain, and then a 6-up refusal to die. And then if they're with the stick and they kill somebody in hand-to-hand, they will get a 3-up invuln, 5-up, or 3-up invuln. Actually, I think it's a 5-up feel no pain, not a 6-up, and then a 6-up refusal to die from being Graia. Makes them pretty hardy for little guys walking around. I really like the Jazz Hands. I have 15 of them, 10 with the stick, and 5 I haven't built yet, which I'll build them as a stick so I can have 15 of both. Although I do see a lot of value in having 20 of the Jazz Hands. If you have the money, I think there is some kind of army builds out there where, 2 20-man units of them would be pretty scary and a lot of firepower. So it'd be interesting if you want to put that much into it. Also, you don't need all these little units to fill in these extra detachments you're going for, because all you're going to do is do 2 or 3 battalion detachments. I believe it's just better. Or do 2 battalion detachments and then a 3rd if you can fit another one. Or I like taking the Calidus Assassin or a Knight Gallant or a Knight Crusader or whatever. But the Calidus Assassin for your 3rd detachment slot, so if you go battalion auxiliary, she messes with your opponent's first turn CPs, and she doesn't have to be on the board for this. So she's off the board. She can cause them to have to spend more command points, and then when she does deep strike in, it can be up to like 4 inches away or something. It's like I think it's a D6. What is that? D6 plus 3 inches away or something that she has to land. So if you roll a 1, she's only 4 inches away. Her gun is a mortal wound gun, and she has an ignore invuln sword. She's pretty good for her points, and I believe she might have went down in points in chapter approved. I haven't double checked that. That's the Calidus Assassin. Also, one of the things that I feel hurts Admech is, of course, all armies are hurt by Alpha Strike, and armies are hurt by getting, especially Admech, getting pinned into their deployment zone by a lot of horde infantry, like close combat stuff. So having her causing them to spend more command points to do all these big combos of like combining, say it was orcs and they're going to combine units and then do this, and then they're going to do Grot Shield and this and that. Anytime you roll that like 4 up and that costs them an extra command point, they weren't planning on that, and they're going to start to run out of command points very fast. Especially armies that use big 3-4 stratagem in a row combos to get off some devastating attack. It's very, very good. And it's the whole first round, so it's your turn and their turn. So it works if you go first and they're using defensive stratagems, and then it works on their turn when they're using their offensive ones, or vice versa. So she's very worth looking at. And you can convert her from like any cool model, get any, cool little female ninja, basically. You could probably make one out of one of your extra bodies that you'll get when you build your Infiltrators and Rust Stalkers. So we're going with 1 10-man squad of Infiltrators. You went Power Sword on the captain guy. No, you went Power Sword on 2 of them, and Tasers on 8 of them. It's definitely feasible. I don't think it's a bad idea, actually. But I think I would just do the Power Sword on the captain, Princep, and then do 9 of the Flechette and Tasers. Although, I would just go 10 with the Tasers and Flechette Blasters and Mars, because this is your most absolute accurate, best Wrath of Mars unit. 1 command point, you give them +1 to hit, so they deep strike in. On the turn that you're re-rolling 1s to hit army-wide because of your canonical. On Mars, you also could be rolling 2 dice for this, so you're very likely, or more likely, to get that, or pick it on that turn, or spend command points to then pick it on a turn. You jump in, 10 guys, 50 shots, hitting on 2s, re-rolling 1s, so it's basically 50 hits, and then you're strength 3, but you're fishing for 6s for mortal wounds on Wrath of Mars. They can do like 10 plus mortal wounds with their little strength 3 guns, and then on top of that, they still got to make armor saves against all those. Very powerful. It's the best Wrath of Mars unit outside of, the fully DACA robots, but even then, being able to drop these 10 guys strategically to put that Wrath of Mars into something that's not, something that's hiding from the robots that doesn't want to get Wrath of Mars, and then those guys drop next to it, boom, beautiful. Such a good play. Fast attack, 2 Iron Strider Ballistari with autocannons. I love the Ballistari. I was telling everybody how good these are. For 1 command point, you can give them +2 to hit. I built 3 of them with autocannons, and I almost always run them, and a lot of times I run them as las cannons. Nobody has ever said that I didn't build the las cannon on the turret, because it's just a long cannon anyway, and I think the autocannons look better than the stubby little las cannons. But I love this unit. They're so good. So good. And the more you put in a unit, the more they benefit from stratagems, like the Overwatch on better Overwatch stratagem, +2 to hit stratagem, so on and so forth. So, and then your last one is a Dragoon with a Radium Giselle. I've never ever seen this being used. It's a weird weapon. It's 2 strength 5 shots, no AP, 1 damage, so it's pretty terrible, and it can shoot characters. But the problem is its ability to pick out characters, but then its lack of AP or multiple damage, it's not going to hurt them. Like, characters have good armor saves, so they are pretty much going to be immune to this guy. I would just build a third Iron Strider Ballistari and put a unit of 3 out there. It would be interesting, though, to have a whole bunch of these. I don't know what they're going to do. They're going to fish for 6s and hopefully Mortal Wound, but you could just build the Arquebuses on your infantry guys and go for that instead. And that's it. So hopefully you found this entertaining. Hopefully you're excited about the Ghost Brush coming in January to Kickstarter. We got the Ghost Brush looking good right there. We got all kinds of affiliate links to eBay down below if you like buying stuff off eBay. We got just really a good time. I went to the Coyotes game tonight. We got destroyed by Las Vegas. And now I'm about to watch the Orville that just had the season premiere on TV. So thank you so much, you guys, for watching. Please subscribe. And anything beyond that is just extra. So have a good one.